Welcome back to Dark Matters. We are here with Robin Hood from the Realm of England, and we are here for another update, a very, very important update. So please do stay tuned. So we are correcting the record at our police stations, reminding these corporate policy enforcers that legislation is not law. Law requires consent, and consent has been very much withdrawn. So what we're dealing with are licensed corporations masquerading as public authority, as said before, not police constables, but policy officers acting ultra vires. They are operating without lawful jurisdiction, but we are standing in de jure law, the true law of the land, lex terrain, jus in rem. So Robin Hood has once again been crisscrossing the realm, serving notices, calling out the police and crime commissioners, making it clear that the Bill of Rights is in force in perpetuity forever. These are not poetic words, they are the backbone of our nation. Ignoring them is complicity in treason. So here's the latest update from the realm. Robin, are you there?
I am, and thank you very much. Let's fly straight into this because we just want to get a quick update out there. We've obviously served. There's a big showdown in Stoke today. Let's see if they turn up. In Stockport. If you're in Stockport, it's on the web there. Get yourself over to John's. Defend, and let's stay true to each other. These corporate muppets now are absolutely out of control. They are fully aware of what they're doing. I, as Carly's be and will fix in today, I was at Teesside yesterday, and I put the headquarters under full notice. I was there to serve the chief constable. Cut a long story short, the receptionist went and got a police officer. She came forward. We had a very quick and very frank discussion of who I was, what I was, and everything else. She then took the documents away, said, "Can I have a read of these?" The deputy PCC came down and read the documents. So I was in this office for about 30, 40 minutes. Now we've issued absolutely loads of documents in law, which they've ignored. Now that is a breach of fiduciary duty, it's a breach of the Nolan principles, and it's a breach of law. It's for disclosure. It's a breach of the Evidence Act 1984. It's a breach of the Police Act 1996. Took all these documents in and said, how dare you go to a foreign state court, which you pay for, at Teesside Magistrates Court. The magistrate will be put under full notice. He will be going up for treason. The chief constable is now put on notice. Here we go. Your officers have no jurisdiction. You are policing from the PACE Act 1984. Please disclose to me where the common law jurisdiction is in the PACE Act. It's legislation. They couldn't. The police officer admitted that they run basically from the PACE Act and other secondary legislation. We all know what secondary legislation is. It is basically not worth the paper it's written on. Right? It's nonsense. So it's just noise in the background. So what you've got now is they're confirming this once you put them under fiduciary duty. The Police and Crimes Commissioner came down and said, "Oh, can we go this way? And you are Mr." And I said, "Don't you ever call me Mr. again. That is a criminal attempt to entrap me into your jurisdiction. Do you understand? I am not a Mr. I am the living executor. I am the due process server serving you from the living executor in this document to the living executor behind your facade. I am not a Mr. Oh, well, I'm Mr. Graham," whatever he said, and off we went. "Would you mind stepping this way, going into this little room?" And literally, and he went, "This is a very comprehensive document, blah, blah, blah." And I said, "Well, I've no idea what it says. I am only the due process server. I'm here to serve the chief constable. You are served on his behalf because you're supposed to be above the chief, the chief constable." I said, and what authority do you think you've got? And he just looked at me, gone out. Well, I'm the Deputy Police and Crimes Commissioner. Okay. I said, you're fully aware of the 2024 Judicial High Court review on your role? Anyway, what do you expect? What do you think? And I said, I don't think anything. I said, I'm going to take that answer as a yes, as an affirmative, so that you are fully aware that you have no common law jurisdiction. You are an administrative office only, and at best, without any public mandate, without any authority, and you have no rights to do anything. Nothing. I'm the senior figure sat here today. Do you understand? The police officer sat across us, young constable that I'd put under fiduciary duty, confirmed a few things to us, which he was not happy about. And I said, don't you start. I said, she's under fiduciary duty and so are you. I said, you're a public servant. I said, you're under administrative duty. You're here by the request of Parliament, nothing more. Why have we not been disclosed that all the police forces are under licence? For failing to disclose that, you now have failed to disclose that you're under licence, you're under agreement, and the theft of people's property to conduct and pay for this licence. This is what it's all about, ladies and gentlemen. It's all about to pay these licenses. Right? That's why you're getting your assets stolen, your houses. The judges are working for everything. It's the solicitors behind the lot. All of it. The solicitors and the police force. The police force is not a constabulary. Any business can call itself whatever it wants. It's a private corporation, and they confirmed it. There were 8 documents we then issued to the Teesside Magistrates Court on the same day, including the estoppels, the void order. They stamped them, and not only they stamped them, the court manager signed them, which Carly will show you shortly. So now, everything that they've done is now been proven to be fraudulent. There's a massive complaint going into the HMCTS because they are supposed to be the guardians of justice. There will be a full complaint going into the Justice Department because they no longer are in any way, shape or form in law. They are running only from administrative jurisdiction. Fraud. By fraudulent instruments and by illegal conversion. This is the key paragraph. Illegal conversion. They absolutely nearly wet themselves, I'll put it that way, when I informed them of the Constitutional Reforms Act and what it states in 1986 and in 2005. Now, unfortunately for the judges, they can't issue arrest warrants. They cannot issue any kind of writ, order, or anything. They're in the wrong jurisdiction. They're upon the water. They're under Admiralty. So let me tell you why you won't win anything, because we're in the wrong jurisdiction. To claim back everything that we're going to claim back, we now have to take them to an Admiralty tribunal. In REM jurisdiction, because they're outside of our just naturel, just in REM jurisdiction. We're above them. That's why the high courts won't do this, the high courts won't do that, and the superior courts won't do this, that, and the other. The high courts have no jurisdiction. It is nothing more than an administrative office, is the high court.
No.
They're under Dunn's numbers. They're as plain as the ship on our noses. Right? We're going to the wrong redress department. Right, so we now go to not only the Admiralty courts, but the Admiralty Tribunal Court Martials and demand a full court martial for treason. Because
And
they're
how does
running.
that kind of work a bit more, Robin? Because obviously I'm a bit confused by that one. So people watching, what does that actually mean? I'd not heard of that term. What does that look
Nobody
like in
has.
real life as opposed to us plebs?
Right, well, you see, nobody has, because nobody sort of put the dots together yet. But hopefully this will help a lot of people. If you go to a high court in London or anywhere in the country, the high court in every department now is incorporated, right?
Yeah.
It's administrative jurisdiction only. Therefore, when you go in speaking law, case law, they don't recognise it, they don't hear it, because you're stood in the wrong jurisdiction.
Yeah.
So now what you do is we flip the script. So we take them into the in rem jurisdiction of the vessel while standing in the just naturel, just in rem position above them and above the court. We now show the illegal conversion that's been conducted against us by these corporate operatives, agents of the state actors, whatever you want to call them, right? We can now show that every judge, every solicitor, every police region, they're not a police force, they're a police region under license, has broke the law. I had a 30-minute conversation with a senior detective on the phone, and he was trying to tell me that acts and statutes are law. And I said, oh, yeah. I said, is that what you think? I said, are you telling me that as fact? That's fact. I said, you're a liar. Who am I speaking to? I said, you're speaking to the living executor, the due process server. I know who you are. I said, you will be indicted within 10 to 15 days. I said, do you understand? What's an indictment? I said, you really are a sorry piece of skin, aren't you? What do you mean? I said, well, you don't know the difference between law. Oh, so you're telling me there is no law in England and you're sovereign man of the land. I said, don't you ever speak to me in that tone. I said, do you understand? I said, I've already told you who I am, and I'm so superior to you, you have no idea of my capabilities. I said, I've just been in to speak into the headquarter office that you say that you're from, which I don't think you are. I've just spoken to the PCS and had confirmed by the duty receptionist, the officer on call down there, that you are working only from the PACE Act, secondary legislation, and she's confirmed this. So where do you think you're running your law, and where do you get your common law jurisdiction from? Because you're only running from legislation. You're only quoting legislation. Legislation has no authority over man. And he was stumbling about and being obnoxious and all the rest of it. And I went, okay, so you have no idea what law is then, do you? I said, you see, because I'm under this your law by lex terrain. Now, where are you? I said, you're under administrative nonsense. I said, it's not law. I said, what does the 1980 Magistrates Court Act state? Rule. The 1984 Magistrates Court Act, rule. The 1981 Supreme Court Act, rule. CPR, what does R stand? Rule. So there for you, young man, not for me. I'm above you.
Yeah.
So you're above the law. I says, I'm not above the law, and I've not stated I'm above the law. You have. Because you're stating that you're above the law, are you not? And he went deadly silent. So I'm going to take that as, so nobody's above the law. You're not above the law, are you? Or any police force. No.
They seem to think they are, don't they? Yeah, with their fake pieces
so I
of
was
paper
like,
and their bullshit.
right, enough. I said, you're arrestable. So do you understand? So you can be arrested at any point under Section 24A of the Police and Evidence Act if I witness a felony or a potential crime. So you have breached Felony Treason Act. Do you understand? I said, now you're putting you fully under your fiduciary duty. Now disclose what kind of license you're under. I'm not going to answer that. I'm not going to answer that. So you're under fiduciary duty, sunshine. That's honesty, integrity. When you are asked, you must answer. Well, I'm not answering that. Said, so now you're a liar. Are you coming in to give evidence to help us with our inquiries? I said, so you've gone to court to freeze assets to demand that somebody comes in and helps you with your inquiries. Thank you very much for that evidence. So you've got no evidence of a crime. You've got no evidence of any wrongdoing, but you feel that you can go to a foreign state court with a foreign state bar guild magistrate that's got no seal, no mandatory red wax seal, and state that you can freeze people's assets and take them. So thank you for that, you criminal. Said you are aware that that is the Treason Act, do you not? 1351, and it is in force by usurping the Bill of Rights, the Magna Charta. What does that section 39 state of the Magna Charta? No man, no free man can be excised, have his assets stolen, seized, or anything without due process and a jury of his peers and equals by the law of the land.
Yeah.
What does the Bill of Rights state? There can be no fine or forfeiture without the jury. And the law of the land. That is usurpation, sir. That is high treason and punishable by death. We have forgot our place and they are overruling us by the Terrorism Act. And I told him, you're under the Terrorism Act now, 2006 to 2015, 2010, states. By political agenda. You're enforcing a political agenda against the sovereign, against the Constitution. You, sir, now are in the game of slavery. You are now demanding, by compelled performance, by presumption of obligation, by setting it a fraudulent case, to demand somebody gives you assistance in a case where you have had no evidence. You've breached the Evidence Act. We've demanded from you this, this, and this in law. You've ignored it. Who do you think you are? I said, but you do know what you're going to be doing, don't you? He said, the rope dance is not a pretty sight.
Yeah, yeah.
Right?
Well,
He was not a happy bunny. Oh, I've got work to do. It's all right for you. You've got nothing. I said, I'm working.
Got nothing to do. Wow, okay.
I said, I'm working. I said, you've now been, I said, you've 48 hours. I said, I suggest that when you put this phone down, that you ring the deputy PCC and ask if I'd been there and served him and the chief constable documents. You will be put under pre-action protocols and you will be charged with multiple felonies, multiple crimes in law and breaches of your duty in law. But as you have failed to disclose that you are nothing more than a corporate entity acting from a license that has no jurisdiction in law, has no right in justice of law, and by a terrorism act of enforcement of a political agenda for self-gain, profiteering, and in the act of treason, high treason, and multiple treason felonies. Says, you want to get a grip now, young man. The game's over. Yeah. And like I said to the Deputy Chief Constable, the wheel has come off your buggy. We've now got you.
Yeah, and it's so satisfying, isn't it? You know, the police as policy officers, I'm afraid you are zeros, not heroes. And it's, like you say, game's up, isn't it?
It's now for the people. It's now for them to realise that they cannot take your biometrics. So when you see biometrics and people and police swarming people, get your ass, stop being afraid, surround the police force, take it fucking down and fuck off. We want your names, we're taking your badge numbers, and we are now suing you both in the international courts and in the Supreme Court as to the ruling in 2020 against South Yorkshire Police Force that was upheld that you cannot have biometrics without personal consent.
Yeah. And we're going to do some shorts, aren't we, to try and get this over in a bit of a firmer, more succinct manner for people so that we can try and get that information out there, because that's how important this stuff is. It's the end game. We just need the numbers, again.
Listen, the one last point I'm going to make is this. This bull about the biometrics and you're all going to have ID cards, they know they can't bring it in. They lost in Europe in the international EEC court, right? Superior Court. This is what they're trying to run from, okay? In 2008. Massive case. So have multiple governments that have tried to fetch it in. This is a distraction, and a massive distraction, from they are now trying to take away your juries, which they cannot do. It is a fundamental principle of law. Defend your juries at all cost. We are now doing a full estoppel to the government, and we will be charging every government department with treason. You cannot usurp or remove one word, one paragraph, anything from the constitutional documents. It has to go back to the originals. You have got caught in 1888 and 1948 usurping and changing to give yourselves more power. You will now be put under the full weight of the law to prove that your corporation can claim sovereignty. It has no sovereignty. It has only got delegated powers, which you can only delegate once from the people.
Yeah.
And you scumbags have forgotten who is the true executor in office. That's us, the people. Done, Parliament. You are put under public notice, on record, under public record, that you have now been caught. This is all you're doing. This is all your usurpation. This is all your incorporation through fraudulent acts of Parliament to take us from the land upon the sea through administrative nonsense. Absolutely administrative nonsense. Right? It will not work. It will not come to fruition. The people are now waking up from this nightmare and this terrorism by Parliament and the senior officials within. And you'll be shocked at who they are. All be disclosed later. But it is now time to assist our neighbours to stand up to tyranny, to arbitrary authority, and to stop being afraid of these things in black. Why do you think we've gone from the blue uniforms to the black Gestapo uniforms? It
Well,
is
and you
to
can feel the
impact
energy,
you.
can't you? Like, I think,
Terror.
remember when you used to see an old-fashioned bobby on the streets? It kind of was, I suppose, like a bit of a comforting presence. Not that comforting, but now you just feel that energy. It's so prickly, and we know exactly what they are now, and that's why it incites that reaction in people as exactly as it's meant to. With fear and force.
Yeah, look, at the end of the day, what we use now is the Rice v. Connolly case law 1966, which states there is no ruling law or statute can be enforced that people have to assist a police officer at caution, after caution, or being charged, or before any of it. There is no right in law. You have the right to keep your mouth shut. Therefore, keep it shut. Tell them to fuck off. Who the fuck do you think you are?
Yeah.
The judges will have massive questions to answer, because as to the maxim of law through Brooms, no man has the right not to be offended. Therefore, you cannot jail people for 30 words. Yet a chief constable can
And
get
what's that
fined
case
50
again?
grand. Rice v. Connolly,
It's 30
1966.
words, yeah.
Oh, no,
Can't be
it's
arrested
maxim
for
in law.
offending.
No, it's a
Oh,
maxim in law.
yeah.
What's his name? The ex-copper did the other one in 2023. He took the Police and Crimes Federation to, or the school of, to the High Court and won. You cannot get jailed for freedom of speech. It still exists. It's there in ECHR. It's there in our own maxims. But we've got to know them. We've got to tell these fucking fraudulent arseholes, give me a license. I'm now suing you against your license. I want your assurity because it states, is fact in law from Broom's maxims, BROOM. No man has the right not to be offended. Go kiss my ass.
He who fails to assert his rights has none, right? Equitable
Correct.
maxim.
Yeah. And this is where we need to be. Prove he has the right to make a complaint. Are you bringing a complaint in law or administrative fiction?
Yeah, exactly.
You're an administrative officer. Fuck off. The police, the judges are all administrative scum. They have no jurisdiction over the man, only by illegal conversion. The secret has to come out, and as big and as bold as we can now.
Yeah.
And we've got to get people that are as good as me or, better than me to understand and get this now straight into these police officers in administrative jurisdiction and by de jure in law. That's why they hate what I'm doing, because I put their rules in that they have to obey, and then I trump them with not only natural common law, but the superior common natural law, which is just natural law. It's a fundamental principle that is the senior, most potent law in the world, not just England. It is in the world. Yeah. And what these scumbags are doing are attempting to remove it all and put you as a private corporation. So all your assets now are up for grabs because you are the PSC, person of significant control of a corporation that you don't even know can exist. And that's how they're doing it.
Yeah.
End of. It is off, dickhead. I am not the PSC. I'm not the persona. I'm not this. But they claim, you're in our system. You use our facilities. Actually, no, I don't. You're using mine by usurpation. I own everything. I'm the living executor, the sovereign, the king.
Yeah.
It's in the Constitutional Reforms Act.
Yeah.
Right?
So
I don't think I need to say much more. I am going in and charging in head first, sticking everything out. Everybody has to do this now. Everybody has to come on board with us and literally, no, we're not having this anymore. Now, there you go, you said. 1, the order's void, stamp and sign it as void. 2, you're estoppel, stamp and accept it. This is now accepted, you're under full estoppel, right? The PSCs must now arrest every chief constable for contempt of court, perjury, high treason, failing to disclose relative information, reveal contracts and licenses, reveal where you presume to have your authority from. Parliament cannot delegate authority. It is there in the Cartona doctrine of law. But they're ignoring all of this because they believe that we are too thick, too stupid, too retarded, too desperate to clang on to our little pittances. No, we're going for the big bucks now. We want all our properties back. We want our cars back. We are now going to bring the largest international domestic case against every judge, against every solicitor, against every regional police force, against every PCC for criminal damage, foreseeable harm, treason. Under the Treason Act, you seize as the nation all of their assets. Tells you in the Treason Act. There is a way in law. By de jure right. There's got to be more than me that knows this stuff.
This is the dream and this is the goal, isn't it? So as we've said, you know, we are running the GoFundMe. Please do donate if you can. This is end game work and we need to get it out as far and as wide as possible. So Robin, should we leave it there? Is there anything you just want to add?
I think that was quite a poignant thing to go on. But please, if you can donate, we know times are tough, we know times are hard, but we now need to get this as a nation. If you've lost your home, if you've lost your thing, if you've lost your vehicle, if they've arrested you, jailed you for anything in an administrative court, let's get it sorted. Let's get these now put into an admiralty jurisdiction court for treason against the nation.
Yeah.
This is powerful stuff now. And they've got nowhere to run. They're discovered. Everything is falling apart from them. They're doubling down on some aspects. The courts are doubling down on some aspects. Some regions are going, oh, we better calm off here. But it's too late, ladies and gentlemen. Your secret is done. The wheels are coming off. And, you know, I'm doing this by law. It's not by any other reason. It's not for any other reason that we need to re-establish ourselves as the living creditor. And the laws are there to do it. And that's what they fear. Now, if I'm a thick arse and if I can see it, so should everybody else.
And please do join the Realm of England because we are breaking this down and aiding and assisting every man, woman and therefore child in perpetuity to see this also and to remember this truth. So there you have it. The law of the land, Lex Terra, still stands. It was never repealed, never overwritten, and we sure as hell don't bow down to corporations masking as government. The Bill of Rights remains in force, in perpetuity, and no amount of administrative sleight of hand or uniform theatre can erase that. This isn't about protesting, it's not about begging. This is de jure, not de facto. This is Lex Terra, not statute fiction, and by the King's order we serve notice. So please do stand with us. Please do share this video as far and as wide as possible. Please do come and support the Realm and do, you know, donate to the GoFund if you can. The Realm is most certainly rising. Robin, thanks for your hard work up and down the nation, the realm, whatever we call it these days, and we will see you next time. Thanks so much for that.
No worries. Take care, everybody.